Welcome to the Dallas Parlay. We are back again. I say this every time that we're back because we're back. We had a little delay. Chad had a baby, so we took a little week
Yeah.
off, and then some scheduling issues. But we're here a few weeks after. So again, I'm your host, Brandon, and I have with me just one of the crew members today. We just have Chaz. Ryan's a little busy right now, but Chaz, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Yeah, like you said, I got 3 weeks in the making. Got a little girl, and blessed to have her, but kind of put a little wrench in things. But we're all back.
Yeah, and how's the off sports topic here, but how's the sleeping schedule? You doing all right? You look a little tired
Um,
there.
the first, I can't lie, the first 2 weeks were absolutely brutal. I'm talking, not trying to get like hours of sleep. I'm trying to get minutes of sleep, and but we got a little routine going. I think it's getting a little better. I mean, got 3 hours at a time at least throughout the night, so it's not as good as I would like it to be. But I mean, for a 3 week old, you can't really expect a whole lot. But no, it's been great. It's a learning experience, but um, hey, you know what? Maybe she'll be on
Just-
later on in the future with us.
Yeah, dude, I want to get my kids on. Yeah, we're getting off
Yeah.
a little bit, but I would love like my kids. I tried to do one. You probably it's on the Spotify. Obviously, got anybody listening can go back and watch and listen. It's like father, like son. I think I titled it, but
Yeah.
it was kind of funny because they're smaller now. My kid's 14 in high school, so he would probably actually do a little better this time if I threw him in here. He'd be shy to talk, but if I got him talking, he would act like he knows some stuff.
I mean, if
But
Brian keeps missing, we'll have to put him in.
that's true. That's true. Ryan, you better step your game up, bro, when you listen to this.
He should be
Anyway,
back next week.
yeah, I think so. Back on schedule. But yeah, we're gonna talk Cowboys, of course. Um, and up next we have Detroit. We want to go back though, like back maybe 2 weeks, because we only missed like 3 weeks worth. Chaz, you wanted to mention a few things. Baltimore, right? That's who we went back to 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
that was we. Yeah, we didn't have the time to do the Baltimore game. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because it was a awful game for us. Even though, if you look at the score, 25-28, it doesn't really
Hmm.
say that it was as bad as it was, but it was still another struggle for CD and Dak together. Just this was before they've been better, but this is back when they weren't linking up very well, and just
Yeah,
we
I
pretty
think.
much got ran the whole game.
Yeah, I think Ferguson had the most yards that game actually. So
I think you're going to talking about these last 2 or 3 games. That's going to be a common occurrence. Ferguson's name. He's been in the top three receptions every game, I believe. So is
probably.
he?
Yeah.
I mean, he might be a discussion for the number two. Honestly, after Cooks' injury, and I mean Tolbert's getting some more looks now, but I mean Ferguson's been the most consistent receiver outside of CD that we've had.
Yeah. 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 I completely agree. Love Fergie. Ferguson's is the best, and he's got a beautiful girlfriend too. By the way, I don't know if you know who his girlfriend is, but
I
uh,
don't.
what?
No.
Kevin, I forget how to say it. The twins that play basketball, they play college basketball. I think they transferred to like
Uh,
TCU and stuff like that. I forget their last name. Starts with a C. Anyways,
I have to look into it.
anywho, yeah, he's great. Um,
Yeah.
but that game,
But
dude, that
no,
was.
the
Go
was
ahead.
not good. No, you're right.
I was just gonna say that game actually helped Dak's stats, I think, a little too, because I was listening to ESPN earlier, and they were talking about like a Dallas identity type of thing, and it's like we don't have an identity, like we can't run, but our passing game isn't like it's looked better these past few weeks, yes, but it's just like the identity's not there, and I just I don't see it. If you look at the numbers, like I was comparing where I'm going back towards more recent times, but I was comparing Dallas and Detroit and showing and seeing like Goff's passing yards, and Dak hasn't beat by like 300 yards. And I think that Ravens game has part of it because we're down, and so he's throwing a lot, and so it looks good. But just like every year, it's like we look good, but stats look okay, but we have the eye test. They just don't look right.
Yeah,
Something's
well, I
not
mean,
right.
you're right, Dak. He's got the third most passing yardage in the whole league right now. I mean, he in that the Baltimore game. If you only looked at the numbers, he had an amazing game. It was just he had just shy of 400 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, which has been a little bit of a problem recently. But and Lamar Jackson didn't even have 200 yards passing in that game. So, um, again, just looking at it by the numbers, it looks like it was a close one. We had to score 19 points in the fourth quarter for it to look that close, and the Baltimore Ravens really try to give it to us here at the end. But I can't even really remember what happened. Interception or something on the last drive to try to tie it.
Of course.
But yeah, it
We did
wasn't a
get
good
that.
game.
Did we
But
onside kick or somewhere in there? Am I thinking that?
yeah, yeah, and we got it. Yeah, so
Oh, I learned a
which
new
is
rule
with the
too.
with the
That
new rules, you have to be behind, you have to be all that other crap. So
yeah, and you can only do it twice. I think they explained it either I learned it afterwards or maybe they explained it on the broadcast that you can only do it twice. So if we got the first one and then the second one, if you don't get it, you can't onside again. Like that, I saw
huh.
that rule or somebody said that rule, and I was like, what the heck? That's a stupid rule. Like
Really, I
you
didn't
want the
know
games
that.
to be entertaining, then you should onside kick as many times as you want. That's just
I knew
goofy.
you had to be. I knew you had to be down in the game, and I knew you had to basically announce that you're going to do it, and then have
Hmm.
to follow through with it. Like you can't say you're going to do one and not do it. But yeah, that he did the watermelon kick, and and we got the ball back. I
It
mean,
was
they made it
awesome.
interesting in the end. Yeah, they really did. But I mean, whatever. It was a loss.
Yeah.
But the Giants game following was actually a pretty good bounce back game, not only for Dak, but Dak and Lamb both kind of their connection
Hmm.
really kind of showed
Looked
up
a
in that
little
game
better.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember specifics either with the Giants, but definitely looked better. We just keep getting this same, even the Giants, and then um, just the same. We get the same rap every time about you know who are we beating? Like they think
Yeah.
that just because we beat the Giants, it's like, oh, who cares? You beat the Giants, you beat the Steelers. Who cares? Like that's not even that much. That's not going to be good enough. And
Yeah,
I
but coming off of
normally
back and back I'm sorry, coming
go
off of
ahead.
back to back losses though, it still felt good to get a win, even though it was the Giants. And it was it was in New York too, so it wasn't like nothing. Um,
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's true. And in Pittsburgh too. Yeah. So I mean, Pittsburgh's no joke to play in. That's for sure. And the rain, that delay for I didn't even I fell
oh
asleep with the
my
fourth quarter.
God.
I had to go back
I,
and
wa-
watch.
I
I'll jump
unfortunately,
in.
even with a newborn, I watched the whole game till about midnight, and then the baby kept me up, and my God, dude, that was a brutal Monday, Monday morning. But it was worth staying up for because the whole time when they were on that game-winning drive, I was thinking, if I stayed up this whole time and we end up losing, I'm gonna be sick to my stomach. But
Yeah. Good for you. I passed out. I tried so hard. I think it was my fault. I should have stayed in the living room. I didn't. I turned it off. I go to the bed, and then you get comfortable. And I passed out, and then I had to rewatch it in the morning. And obviously, heroics had a little bit of heroics there.
mm,
Um,
yep,
and Dak, yeah, like it's the normal Dak. It's like he can look good, but then he can look bad. It's just it's not the whole Cowboys team. I'm stealing from that ESPN thing that I saw. They're just not consistent. Like most teams can win and lose a certain way. It's like well, I guess we do lose the same way. That's Dak throwing a pick or we're behind. Like the only time it ever
yeah.
looks good is when we score first, and we can't do that in the past whatever 4 or 5 weeks. So
Well, they've been taking the ball first. They're trying to. I mean, the Cowboys are trying to establish getting the ball first and scoring and making that, getting ahead of the game. And we've been getting the ball first, but we haven't been scoring on the first drive. It really, um, going back real quick to the Giants game, a few things that I had noted that
Hmm.
were kind of important to that game was obviously that's when Parsons went down, and also Tank
Yeah,
lost both of our edge rushers, and then
get to that for
uh,
sure.
Aubrey missed his first field goal of the season, which kind of
Hmm.
which
We'll take
sucked,
it.
but it was
We'll
his
take
first
it.
miss from
It's
50
okay.
in his whole career, so you can't. I mean, it's gonna happen, but it did happen, and we were struggling on third down like we always do. I mean, that's what killed us. Um, in the previous two games we lost, but I think we looked a lot better against the Steelers. I think everybody counted
Hmm.
us out in that game early, and I'm pretty surprised that our defense held up as good as they did, missing as many people as we are.
Yeah. So that's what I was actually going to get to was with Parsons and Tank out. I just want to throw this out there a little bit, and other people may have talked about this too. But do are they? We account for them to be this big part of the defense. Parsons like should have been defensive player of the year. We would say, or Cowboys fans would say. And Tank's okay. Like I'm, a lot of people are more high on him than I am in particular. I know he's a solid player, but he's solid. We'll just say that they're a big part of our defense. And these past, is it just 1 week or was it 2 weeks? Were they there for the Giants, or is that
They
when they
were
got
there for
hurt?
the Giant. No, they got hurt during
Okay,
the Giant. I mean, Parsons in the beginning, and then I think Tank towards the end of the game got hurt.
okay, yeah, yeah, they did. That's right. So we finished that game and the Steelers. So that being said, are they really that big of part of our defense? Like we're clearly doing okay. I mean, I guess the big test will be this week for sure.
Yeah, I agree because I think the Lions, their offensive line is a lot better. I mean, Steelers, I think, are supposed to historically have a good offensive line, but I think
Hmm.
the Lions' offensive line is kind of one of their standout shining points there on their team. So you're right. I think, and it sucks because we brought in Nealon in with the injury to Parsons and hoping we could get some pass rushing, and he looked actually really good right off the beginning of the game, and then goes down. I mean, he gets
Yeah,
injured, and he's going to be missing. I don't know if did they end up saying it's going to be season
I
ending
didn't see.
or yeah, at
I
least
didn't
three
see. I didn't
weeks.
see.
I
Yeah,
think
I've
he
been
had
kind of out
surgery
of
for
it.
sure. Yeah. So I mean, we're going to really have to dig deep and try to find some pass rushing. I mean, I don't know if that's like trying to find somebody, like pick them up, or just use what we got. But
Yeah, we have to. I mean, Jared Goff is. He's had some. Last year he had obviously a great year. Stat wise, remember I already said this, but Dak and Jared Goff have similar. Dak's got about 300 more yards, but obviously due to different reasonings. But yeah, we're gonna have to put some pressure on him, and actually, that's a lie. I don't even know if we'll get to that point because they have a great run game, and
yeah,
I don't know if you know this about the Dallas Cowboys that we mention every week, but we don't have a great run defense.
next to last
So,
or probably last or something like.
and they looked
Yeah,
good last week. They looked good
they
last
did.
week.
Yeah.
But we like it just again another. Was it the team? Like, are the Pittsburgh Steelers not as good as we thought? Just like with Cleveland, we were all high on this defense. Whoa, the defense did great. And then, obviously we found out our defense is not so great. So, big test for sure.
Yeah, but
So,
we did get a big win, and we can't discredit what we did in Pittsburgh. I mean, it was good to go in there and get that dub. And what was if you had so I got a player in mind, or maybe two players in mind during that game that I was thinking that really were standing out to me offense wise. And
okay.
if I was given a game ball, do you have a game ball player that you would have given one to? Because
Oh, dude.
the
Touchdown guy.
Tolbert
Touchdown. Yeah, man.
touchdown guy.
Tolbert, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr.
Tolbert had
Tolbert, dude, because he had
he
some
had a great
big,
game.
third down catches. he had obviously a touchdown, and if you noticed before, which the whole broadcast team noticed it, but he like hurt himself. I'm not even sure how, if he like jammed his finger or what the heck he did, and then they ended up having to kind of either call a timeout or whatever. Dude, no, I was pumped when Jalen Tolbert, and he's 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 had a rough going his first, what, 2 years or 3 years, however long he's been here. So yeah, I would go if I was giving it. That would be him. Who would you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's hard to. That was one of the two. I mean, Tolbert actually had a big game. He led the team in receptions. I think 7 for 87 and a touchdown. The touchdown was obviously the most important catch of the game there at the end. But and then again, second place in receiving yards, Ferguson again. As what I was saying earlier, 6 for 70. I mean, that's even more than CD had in the game, and CD played pretty well too. But Ferguson's just been that second option. He's been looking good. But what really kind of stood out to me, what we haven't had since the first game of the season, was a little bit of a running game. And Rico
Yeah,
Dowdle had 20 carries, 87 yards, almost 100 yards. We haven't had, collectively as a team, we haven't had over 100-yard rushing game since we played Cleveland the first game. Every game in between has been, pitiful.
did he have
We
a
haven't been
hundred?
running
He
the.
didn't have 100 though. You didn't.
No, he had 87, but as a
Okay,
team we had over 100, and
gotcha.
he looked pretty good. I mean, he got some runs in that were over 10, 15 yards that
Yeah, he was
in a
running with a
couple that
purpose. It looked like,
yeah,
like not just like, hey, I'm running straight and I'm gonna run into a defender or ourselves. So I agree totally.
yeah, and Zeke had some runs, but what we're hearing
Yeah,
is that he
Zeke is
wants to
done.
have some more. Yeah, he's complaining apparently that he wants to be more used, and
Now,
especially in the
I
red
will.
zone, which it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, why the heck? Like, he's only good for one thing at this point in his career, and that's because he's big. Like, throw his butt in there on whatever it was, 3rd and 1, and um, yeah. I mean, that's the one time that Dowdle gets just shut down. And luckily for Dak, can you imagine if they didn't get that fumble back, dude? We would be having a different discussion. I
oh my
honestly think
God.
that we would totally reverse everything. All the good that they did, we would be like, the Cowboys suck, and that's the Cowboys fan way. I get it too, and I'm very guilty of doing that. Like, we should take the game as a whole. But if we lose that fumble, we're talking differently now. Like, we're like, dude, our season's over.
It would have been devastating, man. I mean, because the whole time during the game, I was texting you guys, and I'm like, we're cursed. Like we have something wrong with us where we're having our field goals blocked, and we're having Dak throw 2 picks and fumble one away. I mean, 3 turnovers in the game to 0. You shouldn't win that game. I mean, especially if you're away and you're not favored going in. So that would have been utterly defeating to get all the way down there and put ourselves in a position where I think it was even second down. No, it was first down on the half-yard line or 1 yard line.
Was it?
And yeah, and then we fumble it, get it back
Oh
on the
yeah, that's
5,
how it
and
goes
throw
backwards.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, we throw two incomplete passes, and then it's all
Hmm.
or nothing on fourth down. And thank God
Yeah.
we
And I rewatched
Tolbert
that
got
last
that.
play. Yeah, I rewatched that last play that Tolbert did catch the ball. And CD was actually pretty wide open too. I heard, not Tolbert, yeah, Tolbert. I think I heard Tolbert after the game saying, "Hey, it was basically a two-way like option there. You can obviously throw it to Tolbert, which he did, or throw it to CD. You just kind of have to read the safety." So I rewatched it, and man, he had both options there. Like honestly, I think CD's was a little more open. I didn't see a safety. Like sometimes you have to be careful because that screen doesn't show the whole view.
Right.
But when it zoomed out, I didn't see a safety there. Like I think honestly, CD had the more open route, but we'll take what we can get. But
It
yeah,
was a tough pass to Tolbert. I mean, it looked like Dak had to have enough time for that play to develop because he's crossing from the other side of the
and
field,
scooting. Yeah. You're scooting
and
to the
it was a
left
tight
too.
window. It really was. It was a good throw and it was a good catch. I mean, really, it didn't seem like it was going to happen. I mean, as a Cowboys fan,
Dude,
it
I already
really
knew.
felt like that we were going to go down the field and we were going to stall out. And as soon as we almost fumbled it and incomplete two passes and it's fourth down, I mean, I'm
Just
like,
can't
this isn't
believe
even a
we
coin
almost
flip.
fumbled it.
I know.
It's just that would be the Cowboys' way. Like, luck, maybe they ended the curse right there. Maybe Dak was a heads-up play. He just ended it right there. His own curse, really, because I feel like Dak, like Tony Romo, they just do these funky things to where we're a good team, and like we're not a good team right now. I'm not saying that, but in the past we're a good team, and just something happens.
I mean, we are second in
Anyway,
the division, so I mean, you can't discredit that.
man,
Washington's doing good, 4-1 with.
Washington looked great. They look so
I
great.
know.
It's gonna be
And
rough.
do you think that's Dan Quinn or who? I mean, their quarterback really is the real deal. I
I
feel
think it's
like.
the
I mean,
quarterback. Yeah,
yeah,
100% quarterback. He looks good. He doesn't just look like a runner. Like he's athletic as heck, but he can throw the ball, man. He looked good. Great young quarterback, man. That's
yeah.
oh, psh, I mean, we'll get. I want to get to the Lions, but like that's another topic. Like, what should we have signed Dak? Maybe we should have waited. Maybe we get lucky, draft this young quarterback, and he just happens to be. I don't know. Anyway, is what it is. We have to deal with what we deal with. I already talked about that. Like I think week one about paying Dak or not paying Dak, and I was like, I was for paying Dak because I don't want to be a losing team. Like, what's the point? You already paid CD. You got to pay Dak. But when I saw Washington, I was rethinking. I was like, maybe we shouldn't have paid Dak. Just let him play the season out and let's draft. Let's draft somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I think everybody was saying though that if we didn't sign him before the season, that it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that he wouldn't be with us next season.
yeah.
So
And at
I don't
at the
know.
rate after week two or three when we were losing, I was like, you know what, that might have been a good option because we're about to get this high draft pick. So, and
Yeah,
that still may happen. Still may happen. But on to Detroit. Detroit's 3-1, I think. So again, they look pretty good, and that's what I wanted to compare to is our records, our wins compared to their wins. So, and that's the unfortunate thing. We want to say a win's a win, and I usually want to stick to that. But I dug a little deeper because I'm not familiar with Detroit and who they beat. And I saw that a win's a win, but their wins were better. Like they beat some good teams. Like that's the past 2 years that's been our thing, right? We're making it to the playoffs, but because we take care of bad teams, which is great. That's a good team. A good team takes care of the bad teams. But you got to get some wins against a good team, and so that needs to happen. And really, that needs to happen this week. Like I feel like this is a good point where we decide if it's time or not. But they beat
yeah.
the Rams. They beat the Cardinals. They had a close game with the Bucks. I think the biggest win was probably the Seahawks, which normally wouldn't be that big of a deal. But Geno plays pretty good lately, although they lost last night, I believe.
Yeah, they
Anyways,
did lose to the 49ers, but Seahawks are playing good this year,
yeah, yeah.
and
So,
they spanked
anyways,
them. So
yeah, I just feel like the Detroit Lions have better wins. And that being said, if I was really to pick, I'm picking Detroit. Like, and we don't play well at home, clearly. So that's
well, I
my
mean,
heart.
historically we do play good at home. That's the problem. I mean, we have lost both of
True.
our home games this season so far, but I think we were like 30 something and two, or I mean, we
Yeah.
had a ridiculously good home record before going into this season. So, that's what I'm kind of in the back of my mind. Like, do we lose three home games in a row? Like, I don't know. I mean, Seattle. I'm sorry, Detroit's coming off of the bye week, and I know they're a good team, but is that going to affect them at all? I mean, are they going to be a little slow coming out of the bye? Are they, can we?
Hmm.
We just got to get. I think it's really important to get up on them quick, and if it's winning the toss and getting the ball first and trying to do what we've been doing, but actually scoring this time would be
Yes.
huge.
And not 3 points. Let's score.
Yeah,
Touchdown.
yeah. I think going into the game, Detroit is favored by 3. um, by most.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so, but
But really, if you look at Jared Goff's numbers for the season, he's really not
mhm.
all that good. Like, yeah, and I guess they have a more complete, rounded team, and I have not been watching a bunch of Lions games. But comparatively for the season, Goff just barely has over 1,000 yards passing at 1,015 right now, 5 touchdowns
Mhm.
and 4 interceptions. And Dak has, we talked about a little bit earlier, over 1,400 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, and he also has 4 interceptions. Which it seems like Dak's been getting picked off more than most, but Jared Goff's right there with 4 picks
Yeah.
also.
Do
So,
you have the? Do you happen to have the completions? Um, you know, 13
no, I
of
don't.
whatever. Okay. I was just wondering because I feel like like you said we both haven't watched Lions games probably at all, honestly, but I do know that they have a better run game, and maybe that has something to do with the fact that Goff is not doesn't have as many yards. Stats seem similar, um, interceptions are similar, but he may not be having to throw like Dak, and I think and that's the problem with our whole situation. Dak has, I feel like, played a lot better when he has at least a decent run game, and so Jerry Jones killed
Yeah.
that this summer. So we'll see what
That's some of it
happens.
is like we're relying so heavily on Dak for each game. I mean, because we just don't really have a whole lot more options. I mean, like you said, when you don't have a running game, you just heavily rely on your quarterback, and it's going to be live or die by how he plays. I mean, it is going to be,
Yeah,
but
and it stinks because we
but
don't have good receivers either. I mean, we got CD and Ferguson, but Ferguson's a tight end. He's only going to get so much. And Brandon Cook's out, and even last year, Brandon Cooks didn't really have this. He wasn't like amazing. So
yeah. Well,
yeah,
hopefully
poor Dak.
Tolbert, he continues on having, he comes off of that game winning drive, and he gets a little confidence going into this game. And really also, my boy Turpin, uh, they
He had
are
a
I mean,
catch,
he had more
a deep
involvement
catch
in
too.
this game. Yeah, exactly. So I think he's an option. I mean, they're really liking his speed. I think they're finally figuring out
Using
that,
it.
yeah, he's kind of like one of those people you just put out there, and he can burn them and maybe do something big. So, you know, but you're right. We probably don't have the weapons that they have. I don't know if we have the coaching that they have, but
Mm-hmm.
we're at home and they're coming off a bye, and all we can do, if we win this game, I think it does really make, you know, the
I think
season
yeah,
look promising. Because right now it's still,
yeah.
even off of back-to-back wins, it's like, when is it
And you
going
can shake that.
to?
You can shake that. Oh, I don't beat a good team, but it doesn't get any easier either. So like, let's get this win so we can ramp up for some good. I mean, the Niners came off a good win. I know they don't have a great record, but they're still the Niners. They're still really good. Um, Falcons didn't
Yeah,
look bad.
yeah,
Eagles haven't looked bad. Texans haven't looked bad. Guess what? After that, we have the Commanders, who knows what they are by then. So
right.
you got a long road.
Yeah, our schedule doesn't look easy. I mean, and we're going to be playing the Niners coming off of our bye next week, so
True, true. Hopefully we can get
we'll
healthy,
see.
get a good plan. That always works out for us, right? With playoffs, like we get a good plan. Oh wait, it doesn't. It doesn't work out for us ever.
No. I think we knew that this team was going to be worse than last season, but it's
I
still
know.
like, as a fan,
High
you still want to
Giants.
have an irrational expectations, but it's just game to game. Let's just get this win against the Lions and go into the bye week, and
Let's do
we'll
it.
just have to deal
I'm
with the
pumped.
Niners when we get them.
Hey, can we watch the game together? By the way, what time is the game at?
3:30.
3:30. My
Yeah,
kid has baseball. Fudge.
of course.
Forgot about
Yeah,
that.
so it
Forgot
is.
about that. Maybe he'll lose the first game. Huh? So we'll lose a 8 o'clock game and then to the house. Let's
Then get
go.
out of it. That's right.
Before we wrap up, did you happen to see any Mavs stuff? It was streaming, so you couldn't watch it. I don't think like on DirecTV or anything or ESPN. I don't think it was broadcasting, but you had to like get online and stream it. Did you happen to see anything?
I saw some clips on Twitter, and I didn't know where I could find it. I tried looking for it to watch, but no,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been able to see a whole lot. I saw some lively highlights, and that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. I watched some of the first game, their preseason game. Of course, Luka didn't play, and Clay didn't play, Kyrie didn't play. So I think they did play last night, and I saw a Clay highlight in there. He had like a assist to Lively. So
Really?
I need them to if the stars are gonna play a little bit, let's broadcast that sucker. So I'll send it to you too when I get them because they like stream it on a website or something, and that's how you can do it. But obviously, when the regular season starts, it'll be, I think, on Channel 21. Think that changed, or is that the following year?
No, I think it's this year. I think
Oh,
Bally's is out,
heck
man.
yeah.
And
Forget Bally's. We're the
speaking of
stars.
stars, real quick, yeah. Speaking of stars, real quick, they got their first game and first win yesterday against Nashville. So that was, I don't know if you watched it, but I did. And funny because Nashville started our old backup quarterback. I'm sorry, goalie Wedgwood in the game. So it was like our starter versus our backup yesterday. Just kind of funny,
Nice.
but
We have the upper hand on that, right?
yeah. Oh
Our
yeah,
goalie's
we do.
better,
But
right? Or we let go of a good somebody good. I'm not a big hockey fan, you know.
no, man, our goalie. I think our goalie's the best in the league, and he has been since we have him. He's I think 3 years into the season in the league now, and he's dynamite.
Sweet. We'll have to ramp up on that. You have to remind me of games so I can start paying a little. When it gets closer to playoffs, I'll watch more hockey. But I guess with you on here, if we actually do this weekly, then I got to step it up. But you
Yeah,
know
they
I'm a
play
Mavs
again
fan,
Saturday
so
on but all their games are on ESPN Plus right now. So if you don't have ESPN Plus,
oh,
you're kind of
so
screwed.
they're not on Bally's either.
They weren't yesterday for some reason.
Okay,
So
I didn't know if it was just the Mavs changing. Oh well. Anyway, all right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week. We're gonna get ready for these Lions, and hopefully we can do something great.
get a dub,
Again,
baby.
not get it done. I'm not expecting it. My hopes, my level, what's that? My bar is real low. So, they do anything good, I'm gonna be like, oh, all right, Cowboys, let's do this. Anyway, all right, we're signing off. Again, I'm Brandon, your host for the Dallas Parlay, and I got with me
Chazzy Chaz.
Chaz. Ryan will be back next week. The crew together. Maybe we'll have some drinks while we're doing this. No, nah, we always do it during the day, so we gotta keep it light. All right, guys, signing out. See y'all later.
Peace.